Hi there, Vibe Gardeners. Welcome to another episode of Vibe Gardening Informed Edition, where I'm going to talk about how I'm going to apply what I learned from 2 seasons of growing cherry tomatoes into how I'm going to do it this year a little differently here by the utility pole on my extension lawn. With that said, let's go. All right, guys, so to kind of grind you guys in what's going on here, if you guys remember, my plan for this year was to get my cherry tomatoes here by my utility pole, my extension lawn, and to make it kind of a community garden in a sense in that if someone walks by and they want some of the tomatoes, they can come by and pick it up for whatever they want. And it'll be next to the cucumbers here. I've designed to climb up this pole. And essentially what I've done here was I made sure it's going to be big enough. So I'm going to showcase it a little bit here in that I'm going to be using these 10-gallon grow bags to take care of the cucumbers. What we also learned from last year was that the 5-gallon bucket was just not big enough. The cherry tomatoes outgrew that significantly very quickly, and that was not going to be a solution that's going to work any longer. So what I've done here was I took this 2-foot diameter raised bed that's only about 1 feet tall, which doesn't seem like that much, but because it is open bottom and we'll hit the extension lawn here in the grass, it's going to be able to be bottomless and basically drain down. So it has room to grow down, and the diameter about 2 foot is about perfect for cherry tomatoes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to end up putting some of my compost that I made last year on the bottom. Then I'm going to put some raised bed soil on the top, and then I'm also going to take some of my what's called a grow bag soil that has marigold roots in there for the beneficial effect of marigold root. And I'm going to just dump it in here and make it a good zone for the cherry tomatoes. But in this episode, I will not be planting the cherry tomato as it is still right before the last frost date here in Michigan, Southeast Michigan. So I will not be actually planting the cherry tomatoes, but I'm just getting it ready to show you guys how I prepare it. So here we go. All right, guys, so to remind you what's going on here, this is the compost I've been starting last year. I'm going to get some of the finest compost in here and just dump it at the bottom. All right, that's a beautiful layer of compost if you've seen one. I still want to use the raised bed soil to help level this end here a little bit. So that's going to come next step when I get the raised bed soil in there. All right, this is me after I added some raised bed garden soil in here. And so I made sure, if you look in here, I made a crater here so that I can add the 3 gallons of the marigold roots filled potting soil in here. And then down here, I was able to find some native soil I dug out when we planting some igloo mums last fall. And this right here should be native soil to give it a good leveling job. And this right here is as you can see, it's completely dried. This is how clayey the soil is. So hopefully there's something a little better underneath. But either way, the tomato should have plenty of good compost and raised bed soil here to work with to give it what it needs before it punches through into the native clay soil. Now, if you guys will remember, this is the 3-gallon marigold bag I used last year. I was able to take the mulch off the top and expose the whole thing. So I'm guessing it probably has about 1.5 to 2 gallons of soil that I can basically dump right in here. And I'm going to put it in there and give it a little, basically massaging to get the roots all mixed up in there. So it will be right in the root zone where the cherry tomato is going to go. And there you have it. We have all the soil added, even with a little paw print from me on there. Just got to add a little bit of mulch to keep the weeds from growing in there. And we are going to be able to get that in there and start the waiting game for the temperature to be just right for the tomatoes going. And there you have it. Until the squirrels decide that they want to dig around and do their own gardening, the weeds and other seeds will be have a hard time finding a footing in this raised bed. It'll be ready for the tomato coming up in probably a week, And my community cherry tomato garden will be ready to let passerbyers get a little snack as they pass by. All right, guys, so let's summarize a little bit of what we did here. So what I did here was I made sure I got a pretty large container of raised garden here. It took probably about 3 cubic feet, which comes out to be approximately about 90 to 100 liter, quarts here, which is about close to, I would say close to 20, if I'm doing my math correct, 25 gallons of dirt here for the cherry tomato. Because last year we found out that 5 gallons just wasn't enough. And yeah, so compared to the 10 gallon, it's definitely getting a lot more. Definitely give it a little bit of light horticulture style of raised bed, in that we have a layer of compost and raised bed soil on top. We did not add any branches in the bottom because 1 foot is not enough to give yourself that style. And so then what I did was I put the roots of marigold where the planting zone is going to be, because we figured out last year that marigold, really, the root zone is the only thing that's going to be beneficial to the tomatoes. So we put that in there to give us a chance to take advantage of that. And so then we put down the mulch to keep the weeds and stuff from growing here. And in about a week, when the last frost day passes, we should be able to put our first cherry tomato here. And due to the location, as you can see, we've got a sidewalk here and the street there. I expect a lot of my neighbors to stop by. So we know how kids are, right? So I'm going to own the fact that people will be picking up some of my tomatoes here, and I think they'll be just fine here. So hope you guys learned quite a bit about what I was able to apply for my last 2 seasons of growing tomatoes in this raised bed here. And guys, well, keep gardening and keep vibing. Let's go.